Dealerships absolutely love it when you care about image. They love watching buyers finance a massive, fragile badge just to impress strangers at a stoplight. Because while everyone else is busy fighting over the exact same trendy, overpriced models, the smartest mechanics in the room are quietly scrolling past them to find the real engineering anomalies. The market hates these 12 bikes, and that is your ultimate financial opportunity. Let us count down 12 rejected legends, starting with a machine where Honda hid the radiator so perfectly, even the owners spend 5 minutes looking for it at every fuel stop. Kicking off at number 12, 2009 to 2017 Yamaha FZ6R. In the late 2000s, every young rider wanted an aggressive track-spec supersport. The FZ6R arrived with full fairing, an inline-4 engine, and everything that looked the part. Then the internet discovered it had a steel frame and detuned cams and declared it slow before anyone had properly ridden one. 600 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled inline-4, and here's the part the forums missed. The engine block inside the FZ6R is a heavily reworked derivative of the street-proven FZ6 engine layout. Yamaha redesigned the cylinder head and fitted milder camshaft profiles. So instead of making peak power at 15,000 RPM, where you never actually ride, it makes its power in the mid-range where every public road interaction happens. The result is an engine that is physically impossible to stress on a public road, wrapped in full weather protection with upright ergonomics that do not destroy your wrists on a 200-mile day. New, these went for around $7,899. Because they lack the R6 badge that teenagers argue about, the used market floods them at $3,500. One of the cheapest, most durable inline-4 motorcycles available anywhere. The right buyer is the practical street rider who wants the sound of an inline-4, full wind protection, and all-day comfort without super sport insurance premiums or the physiotherapy appointments that come with a genuine track bike on a daily commute. The inline-4 the market dismissed for being practical. Up next, Honda built something the market hated on sight and canceled after 1 year, hiding a police-interceptor engine underneath it. Coming in at number 11, 2014 Honda CT X1300. In 2014, Honda attempted to redefine the American bagger. The result looked like a jet ski had collided with a boombox. The proportions were bizarre. The half fairing looked chopped off mid-thought, and the exhaust pipes looked like chrome trumpets that someone forgot to attach properly. The market was so thoroughly repulsed that Honda canceled the entire model line after a single production year. 1,261 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled longitudinal V4. The engine in this machine came directly from the ST1300 police-interceptor, a powertrain so well proven that highway patrol departments across the United States trusted it for 12-hour daily shifts through every weather condition imaginable. According to Motorcyclist magazine, the longitudinal V4 uses dual gear-driven counterbalancers to deliver an absolute glass-smooth touring experience. The torque curve is essentially flat. The center of gravity is lower than most machines, half its size. Standard Bluetooth audio and inverted forks completed a specification sheet that cost Honda a fortune to build, and the market walked straight past. Honda priced it at $15,999 in 2014, which sealed its commercial fate. Today, that single-year production run means you can buy this discontinued technological masterpiece for $5,500 to $6,500, a machine with police fleet engineering credentials at commuter pricing, which is absurd. The right buyer is the touring rider who wants to cover 600 miles a day in armchair comfort and enjoys having extended conversations at fuel stops about what exactly they are riding. Honda's one-year disaster with a police fleet powertrain. The machine coming up has a different problem. The market hated the name so much, it never bothered to look at what was underneath it. If you're still here, click that subscribe button right now. Every week we find exactly these kinds of machines, the ones with real engineering credentials that the market forgot to price correctly. Rolling into number 10, 2009 to 2015 Suzuki SFV650 Gladius. Suzuki had the most beloved entry-level naked bike in the world, the SV650. Then in 2009, they replaced it with the Gladius. They named it after a Roman short sword, gave it plastic bodywork covers over the frame, and released it in a two-tone magenta and white paint scheme. The target demographic of aggressive young street riders looked at it and left for the Yamaha FZ6R950 without a backward glance. 645 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled 90-degree V-twin. According to Suzuki's technical releases, the Gladius received a mechanically improved version of the SV650 engine, dual iridium spark plugs per cylinder, heavier valve springs, and a redesigned clutch pack. It is measurably better than the early SV650s that the community treats as sacred objects. The V-twin character is identical. The reliability is identical. The only thing the Gladius changed was the bodywork and the name, and the market punished it for both. Original MSRP was around $6,899. Because nobody wants to admit they ride a machine named after Roman military equipment, pristine examples sit at $3,000. Flat, bulletproof, punchy, and overlooked entirely. The right buyer is the track day rider who wants a cheap, capable machine they can push hard without emotional attachment to the paint, or the commuter who understands that a can of flat black spray paint costs $40 and addresses every styling concern in an afternoon. The SV650's better engine wearing a worse outfit. The machine coming up got destroyed in every off-road review, which would matter if anyone intended to take it off-road. Charging up to number 9, 2017 to 2019 Yamaha SCR950. During the scrambler craze, Yamaha took a bolt cruiser, gave it upswept pipes, knobby tires, and wide handlebars, and called it an adventure machine. Off-road reviewers received it, took it somewhere rocky, discovered it had 2.8 inches of rear suspension travel and weighed 555 pounds, and wrote exactly the reviews you would expect. The market believed the reviews. The SCR950 died quietly. 942 cubic centimeters air-cooled V-twin with a belt drive. Here's the framing. The reviews missed. The SCR950 was never a dirt bike. It is an urban hooligan cruiser with scrambler aesthetics, wide dirt track handlebars that give exceptional leverage in city traffic, a torque-heavy V-twin that asks for nothing but oil changes, and a belt drive. No chain maintenance ever, and no chain lube anywhere near your rear wheel. According to Cycle World street tests, ridden as a city machine rather than a trail machine, it is entertaining and practical. Yamaha asked $8,699 for it in 2017. The market laughed. Barely ridden examples now trade at $4,500. A belt drive, air-cooled V-twin cruiser with scrambler proportions at commuter pricing. The right buyer is the city rider who wants a taller, upright seating position with commanding visibility in traffic, bulletproof Japanese reliability, and the visual character of a scrambler without any actual intention of going off-road. The scrambler judged entirely on the wrong criteria. Just ahead, a machine the forums dismissed because it sounds like office equipment and gets 55 miles per gallon doing it. Arriving at number 8, 2013 to 2019 BMW F800 GT. Motorcyclists want character. They want aggressive styling, memorable exhaust notes, and prestige. The BMW F800 GT provides none of those things. It looks like a premium commuter appliance, and the 360-degree firing order of the parallel twin makes it sound like a very expensive sewing machine and runs anyway. The typical BMW buyer walks straight past it to the GS or the S1000RR, leaving the F800 GT profoundly unloved. 798 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled parallel twin with a toothed belt drive instead of a chain. According to BMW's official maintenance documentation, this gives the F800 GT the smoothness of a shaft drive machine without the weight penalty. The machine is 470 pounds wet, makes 90 highly usable horsepower, and returns a verified 55 miles per gallon when you're riding hard. Those three numbers, weight, power, economy, represent a combination that most middleweights cannot match even on paper. These retailed for around $13,500 with options. Because the styling induces mild drowsiness, immaculate dealer-maintained examples from retiring riders sit at $5,000. A belt-driven BMW with full weather protection and heated grips at used Honda pricing. The right buyer is the year-round commuter who rides through all weather conditions and wants a lightweight, ultra-reliable machine that costs almost nothing to maintain and gets them to work efficiently every single morning. The belt drive is the element that separates this machine from everything adjacent from its competitors most meaningfully. No chain tension to check, no lubrication, no replacement sprockets. BMW specifies belt inspection at scheduled intervals and replacement when worn, an interval that is long, inexpensive, and entirely routine, and most owners never think about it. On a daily commuter covering 15,000 miles a year, the elimination of chain maintenance is a measurable quality of life improvement that the used market has simply failed to price. The BMW the press called boring. What follows is an Italian machine with the most accessible valve adjustment of any motorcycle in its class. 15 minutes, one wrench, no dealership. Pressing on at number 7, 2017 to present Moto Guzzi V9 Roamer. When Moto Guzzi launched the V9 Roamer, the motorcycle press focused on the proportions. The 19-inch front wheel looked small. The seat was flat. The engine made 55 horsepower out of 850 cubic centimeters, which is a number that invites unfavorable comparisons. Against the Triumph Bonneville and Royal Enfield Interceptor, the V9 Roamer looked quirky and underspecified. It struggled to leave dealerships. 853 cubic centimeters see air-cooled transverse V-twin. The transverse layout, cylinders pointing left and right rather than front to back, means the cylinder heads stick straight out into the open air. According to the owner's manual, adjusting the valves takes 15 minutes in your own driveway with a single wrench. There's no bodywork to remove. There are no access panels to wrestle with. You reach over and do the job. Combined with a maintenance-free shaft drive, rare on a middleweight cruiser, the V9 Roamer has the ownership economics of a Honda commuter on an Italian machine and the boutique Italian character of something that costs considerably more. Original MSRP was $10,490. The used market has essentially forgotten the V9 Roamer exists, which brings hand-built Italian cruisers down to $4,500, a price that makes Moto Guzzi ownership accessible to people who assumed it would involve expensive dealer visits. The right buyer is the rider who wants something rare, shaft-driven, and deeply characterful, and who places genuine value on being able to handle all maintenance themselves without booking a dealership appointment. The Italian the market forgot exists. The machine coming up was dismissed as a budget Harley substitute by people who had not noticed the Porsche connection in the engineering credits. Bearing down at number 6, 2015 to present Kawasaki Vulcan S. Cruiser buyers are emotionally invested in specific things: V-twin engines, cooling fins that may or may not actually cool anything, and the general aesthetic of machines that stopped being updated in 1987. When Kawasaki dropped the Vulcan S with a parallel twin engine in a trellis frame with plastic radiator shrouds, the cruiser community assessed it as an imposter and moved on. The used market is now thoroughly saturated with low-mileage examples from buyers who got talked into one and then traded up to something with more V-twin credibility. 649 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled parallel twin, the same engine from the Ninja 650 used as a structural member of the frame. According to Top Speed's handling analysis, this configuration gives the Vulcan S cornering rigidity that traditional cruisers cannot approach. It handles like a naked sport bike, achieves lean angles that would scrape the floorboards off a conventional cruiser, and the Ninja 650 engine will clock 100,000 miles with routine oil changes. The adjustable foot pegs, seat, and handlebars make it adaptable to different body types in a way no fixed geometry cruiser can match, in a way that no fixed geometry cruiser can replicate. Current MSRP is $7,649. The used market is flooded with examples from people who got talked into one from people who wanted a V-twin after all, sitting at $4,500 with 2,000 miles on the clock. The right buyer is the rider who wants the relaxed, feet-forward cruiser riding position but demands modern cornering clearance and braking performance. Someone who actually uses the lean angle a motorcycle theoretically offers. Hit that like button. One tap tells the algorithm to put this in front of every rider who is about to overpay for a badge when the real engineering is sitting right next to it for half the price. The cruiser that corners like a naked bike. Coming up is the Harley that the leather vest crowd rejected on site, which is exactly why it costs $4,000. So close at number 5, 2015 to 2020, Harley-Davidson Street 750. If you arrive at a Harley bike night on a Street 750, the leather vest contingent will find somewhere else to be. The traditional cruiser market rejected this machine entirely. It was built for the global market. It has a radiator which horrifies air-cooled purists. It does not shake at idle, and it revs in a way that feels fundamentally un-Harley to people who associate character with vibration. Resale values went straight down. 749 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled 60-degree V-twin. The Revolution X was designed internally by Harley-Davidson and manufactured in Bhopal, India and Kansas City. A modern, purpose-built, liquid-cooled SOHC engine with overhead cams and a cooling jacket that mean this engine will not overheat in dead-stop August traffic, will not leak oil onto your garage floor, actually leans into corners, and actually revs past 3,000 RPM without protesting. It is the most technically modern powertrain Harley produced in a decade, and the community treated it as a disappointment because it was too competent, and that is the problem. This launched at $7,599. Because the pirate cosplay crowd actively dislikes it, the used market is full of flawless examples at $3,500 to $4,000. The cheapest entry point into a modern liquid-cooled V-twin, into a modern liquid-cooled Porsche-influenced V-twin available anywhere. The right buyer is the urban commuter or newer rider who wants a low seat height, smooth power delivery, and daily reliability without needing a relationship with a specialist mechanic. The Harley the purists rejected for being too competent. The machine coming up has the largest pistons of any production motorcycle and has been sitting on Craigslist for months because the styling peaked in 2006. Thundering into number 4, 2006 to present Suzuki Boulevard M109R. The M109R looks like it was designed by someone who drank 3 energy drinks in 2006 and was never told to calm down. The headlight nacelle resembles something from a science fiction film. It came from the factory with a 240-section rear tire, a size so dramatically wide it verges on self-parody. Modern buyers want stripped minimalism or high-tech nakeds, so this chrome-heavy muscle cruiser sits on Craigslist for months without attracting serious interest. 1,783 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V-twin with pistons measuring 4.41 inches across, among the largest reciprocating pistons of any production motorcycle on Earth. According to Suzuki's engine specifications, the cylinder bores use an advanced race-derived composite coating that eliminates friction, that eliminates conventional friction at the cylinder wall. The result is an engine that generates 118 pound-feet of torque and will demonstrably outlast and outperform American cruisers, costing 3 times as much. The styling has not changed since its introduction, which means a 10-year-old example is mechanically indistinguishable from a current model. A brand new 2025 model commands $15,799. Because the styling is frozen in mid-2000s time, the market treats a 2012 and a 2024 as equivalent purchases, which is your advantage. A 10-year-old garage queen with low miles can be found at $5,500. The right buyer measures satisfaction in straight-line acceleration, wants to produce dramatic wheel spin on demand, and has no objection to smoking $30,000 machines from a standstill on a machine they paid less than $6,000 for. The muscle cruiser dated by its own styling. Just ahead, Triumph built an $18,000 touring machine and launched it into a market that had decided adventure bikes were the answer to everything, almost there. At number 3, 2013 to 2017, Triumph Trophy SE. In the 2010s, the entire market shifted from sport tours to adventure bikes. Triumph released the Trophy SE at exactly the wrong moment and compounded the timing problem by building something that looked visually like a direct copy of a BMW R 1200 RT. Heavy, expensive, and arriving into a market that had already moved on, it was comprehensively ignored. 1,215 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled inline triple producing 134 horsepower. According to Rider Magazine's testing, the Trophy SE came standard with an electronics package that was ahead of the BMW. It visually referenced WP electronically, adjustable suspension, ride-by-wire throttle, traction control, tire pressure monitoring, and an electronically adjustable windscreen. All of it standard, not optional. The inline triple produces a strong exhaust note at high RPM and runs vibration-free at 90 miles per hour, two characteristics that very few engines of any configuration manage simultaneously. The Trophy SE carried an MSRP of $18,999. Sport touring machines suffer from catastrophic depreciation because the market that valued them has largely moved to adventure bikes. You can buy a Trophy SE today for $6,000, an $18,000 technology package at a 68% discount, purely because of a market timing problem that has nothing to do with the machine itself. The right buyer is the two-up touring rider who wants to cross state lines in genuine luxury, heated grips, electronic suspension, adjustable windscreen, without paying the BMW dealer pricing that normally comes with that specification. One important context note: Triumph discontinued the Trophy SE in 2017, and availability on the used market reflects that. When clean examples appear, they move quickly among touring riders who know what the machine offers. The $6,000 price is not permanent, and when it corrects fast. It reflects the current moment when the sport touring market remains out of fashion. That market will correct. It always does. The sport tourer that arrived 5 years too late and costs $6,000 as a result. The machine coming up was launched the same year as its more famous sibling and was so thoroughly outshone that most buyers forgot it existed within 12 months. And up at number 2, 2016 to 2017, Honda VFR 1200X. The adventure bike market in 2016 was consumed by one thing: in the reborn Africa Twin. Honda released the Africa Twin and simultaneously released the VFR 1200X, a machine that was faster, better equipped for road touring, and shaft-driven. Buyers looked at the VFR, decided it looked a bit top-heavy and lacked the desert rally aesthetic, and walked straight to the Africa Twin. Honda discontinued the VFR on 1200X in the US after 2 model years. 1,237 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V4 taken directly from the VFR 1200F sport bike. According to Cycle World's long-term test data, the enclosed shaft drive on this machine is effectively immortal. No maintenance, no adjustment, no chain lube applied in a motel parking lot, while the Africa Twin riders scrub their swing arms clean. The V4 delivers a silky mid-range torque surge that inline fours do not replicate, that makes long-haul passing effortless in a way that parallel twins and inline fours simply do not replicate. Full luggage, traction control, ABS, and a suspension calibrated for loaded touring completed a machine that had no meaningful weaknesses on tarmac. Honda's original MSRP was $15,999. Because the market collectively forgot it exists, pristine, low-mileage examples are consistently available between $6,500 and $7,500, a 2-year production run V4 at commuter pricing, for a machine that cost $16,000 new, which is absurd. The right buyer is the rider who wants to tour 500 miles a day on imperfect pavement, values Honda reliability above all, and has zero intention of ever riding through mud, a description that covers most touring riders who tell themselves otherwise at the point of purchase. Honda's overlooked V4, and the machine sitting above it solved a problem that sounds impossible. A factory chopper with Honda Accord reliability by hiding the radiator so well that even the owners cannot find it, and saving the absolute best for number 1, 2010, to present Honda Fury. The Honda Fury launched in 2010. The chopper craze, driven by reality television programs about custom bike builders, had peaked around 2005 and was thoroughly dead by the time Honda arrived. The market mocked Honda for being 5 years late to a party that was already over, and the Fury has been sitting in the shadow of that reputation ever since. 1,312 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V-twin. Honda 𝐏𝐄𝐑 the radiator between the front frame down tubes, entirely invisible from any normal riding angle, preserving the air-cooled aesthetic entirely. According to Honda's engineering patents, this cooling solution was a genuine design challenge that required significant engineering effort to solve invisibly. An enclosed shaft drive sits inside a machine with a 38-degree rake angle. The fuel injection fires the engine perfectly every time. These are the mechanical commitments of a machine built to Honda. Accord reliability standards applied to a format, the stretched chopper, that is almost universally known for leaking oil, rattling apart, and requiring constant attention from specialist mechanics. The Fury launched at $12,999. The chopper aesthetic being culturally deceased means consistent used market pricing of around $6,000. A shaft-driven, radiator-hiding Honda reliability factory chopper at exactly half its launch price. The right buyer is the extroverted rider who loves the extreme raked-out chopper aesthetic, wants strangers to photograph their motorcycle at fuel stops, and refuses to accept that looking this unusual requires accepting unreliable mechanicals. Honda proved it does not. That hidden radiator is the detail that tells you everything about what Honda was doing here. They could have put the radiator anywhere visible. They chose to spend the engineering effort making it disappear because the aesthetic was not a compromise on this machine. It was the entire point, delivered without mechanical compromise. That is the Honda Fury. The chopper craze being culturally deceased is the reason you can buy it for $6,000. That is the punchline of this entire list in miniature. The market's obsession with trends creates these windows, and those windows do not stay open forever. 12 machines, 12 genuine engineering stories buried under image problems that the used market has turned into discount opportunities for the buyers who know what they are looking at. Which one on this list surprises you most? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And the machines on this list attract people who have interesting stories about riding unfashionable things. Click the video on your screen right now. I will see you there.